Hi, and welcome to another episode of Covering Your Health with Evelyn Erives. I am so excited about today's episode. Have you ever thought about getting involved in meal planning, like as in meal prepping? I know, a little scary, right? It is, definitely. But don't worry. This episode is dedicated to you. We're going to be covering the ABCs of meal planning, its benefits, how easy it can be, how it can save you some money, and I have the perfect guest to help us with that. Today, we're joined by my friend and local small business owner, Christine Holyfield, the founder and visionary behind My Healthy Penguin. Bye, Christine. Her IE-based business has expanded from an idea to a booming meal prep delivery service where she and her crew prepare healthy, tasty, so tasty, and very convenient meals for busy individuals and families. I think this is going to be a very yummy conversation. Let's dive in, shall we?
Welcome to Covering Your Health, a wellness podcast dedicated to covering all areas of living a healthy and happy lifestyle. From healthy hearts to understanding health plans and everything in between, each episode will provide you with a better understanding of managing your health, preventative care, and staying on the right path for your family's wellness journey. The Covering Your Health podcast is presented by IEHP. Now, your host, Evelyn Erives.
Welcome, Christine. I'm so excited to have you here. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
This is really cool. So I obviously eat your food, so I'm a big fan of yours.
Thank you.
Let's start at the beginning. I want to hear about you. Was this always going to be a path for you, do you think? Or did you have something in mind when you were younger and then fell into this?
I kind of fell into it, actually. Mm-hmm. I did not think I was going to go into the food industry. Mm-hmm. I grew up in the food industry. So my parents owned a Mexican restaurant. A bunch of my aunts owned a Mexican restaurant. So
oh my gosh.
I just came from that industry. Mm-hmm. And growing up, I was like, I do not want to be in food. I definitely
no way that's going to be me.
No. So it kind of just happened naturally and organically. Mm-hmm. And just because I knew how to cook and everything, it just was so easy for me.
Right.
In that sense, yeah.
So tell me the story of, because you're from the IE, right?
Yes.
This is so cool to me.
Yeah.
So tell me the story about My Healthy Penguin. Why the name? Yeah. Why did you start it? If you didn't want to do food, what inspired you?
So back in I want to say it was 2014. Well, so I have two kids, 20-year-old and a 15-year-old.
Oh, wow.
And so when I had my son, I gained weight. I was pre-diabetic. I had all these health issues. And back then, there wasn't a lot of information on how to lose weight or the right way to do it or anything like that. Right. So it was really hard for me. I was able to lose a little bit. Then I had my daughter and the same thing happened. But then my health was actually worse by that point. Wow. So it took me many years to try to figure out what to do. Diabetes runs very high in my family, and high blood pressure and high cholesterol, all of that. So my cholesterol levels were through the roof. And at the time I was like, I'm too young to be going through these types of things.
Right.
My kids are still small. So I got into a boot camp. That was an in-home boot camp.
Oh, okay.
That my cousin had invited me to. And I started going there 5 days a week working out. But nothing was really changing for me. Mm-hmm. And then I started to realize it has to be the food. I can't be dedicating an hour.
Darn, right?
Right? Exactly.
Why does it have to be the food?
Just not see any results.
Yeah,
so my friend was a bikini competitor at the time.
Oh, wow.
And she was meal prepping her meals. And I had asked her, hey, what can I do? And she was like, well, you have to meal prep. And I'm like, what is that? So she showed me, and I'm like, this is boring, though. I can't just eat the same exact thing. And what I didn't realize is bodybuilders have to eat the same exact thing, right? Mm-hmm. But for someone like me and other people that aren't in that industry, we don't want to eat that way forever.
No, I don't want anything that's super bland.
Yeah. And I did it for a week. And I was like, no, I cannot. So then I was like, well, I love cooking. So let me figure out how to still enjoy my food, but make it healthier.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I started to do that. And before I knew it, I had lost 30 pounds. I was no longer pre-diabetic.
Wow.
My cholesterol levels were much better.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone at my boot camp gym I was going to was like, what are you doing?
Okay.
And I was like,
she found a different secret.
yeah, because they were like, we're working out at the same time. Like, why am I not losing, but you are? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, it's the food. So then they started asking me to do it for them.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, sure, why not? And so I started to do that. And then before I knew it, I started having like random people ask me for it.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, I actually was going through a divorce.
Oh, wow.
And I hadn't worked in 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I haven't worked in 8 years. I need to figure something out. What do I even want to do?
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, I was like, okay, the only thing I have that I'm making extra money with is this meal prepping thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to like advertise it a little bit, but I didn't have a name for it. It was just me. Like,
Right.
Christine's Preps, you
Yeah.
know? And
That still is cute. I like it.
yeah, but it didn't hit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, at the time, I actually was documenting my health journey and the food I was prepping for me and the kids. And I had an Instagram account that I called it My Healthy Penguins because my kids are my penguins.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it didn't even occur to me at the time that I should go with that name.
Yeah.
And so my friend at the time, who's actually now my husband,
Mm-hmm.
was like, he was going to Cal Poly to get his degree in entrepreneurship and stuff. And so he was like, hey, let me help you out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, you need a name. I was like, I know, I just don't know what. And we were like brainstorming. And then I go, well, I do have this Instagram account called My Healthy Penguins. He's like, wait, where was this?
How do I not know about
How do
that?
I not know? So we're like, you know what? Let's roll with it because I can take that name and make it anything later on.
Mm-hmm.
I won't be stuck in the meal prep industry.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
I can turn it into a restaurant, into a catering company, into a bakery. Like, it doesn't matter. I can take it anywhere.
So smart.
And we decided to drop the S because it sounded better without the S. So it's My Healthy Penguin. And I rolled with it. I started to advertise on there, and it just took off
Wow.
from that.
Oh my gosh.
So it's named after my kids.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And now you have a whole industry. So tell me, like, where are you guys based out of now?
Rancho Cucamonga.
Nice. Okay. And you have like a whole team now.
Whole team. We have about 28, 30 employees. I can't even keep track because I'm constantly hiring.
Yeah.
So we have about employees
Wow.
between all departments, drivers, packagers, chefs, dishwasher, just
Everything
sales,
you
just
need.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I'm so inspired by that story because that's, first of all, single mom
Yeah. It was tough.
coming. It is.
Yeah.
It's hard. Coming up with a whole new way of making money for yourself.
Yeah.
A financial way for your family. That's so amazing, Lisa.
The
That's
funny
beautiful.
thing is that I was actually going to interviews while I was doing the meal preps on the weekends
Yeah.
because I was trying to find a job.
Yeah.
I was like, living in Rancho's not cheap.
No, it isn't.
Apartments weren't cheap, and I need to make this transition as seamless as possible for my kids and not make them feel like mom is struggling in any way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was investing the money I was making from the weekend preps back into the groceries for the following week's preps.
Yes.
And
Oh
then
my
whatever was
gosh.
left over is what we ate during the week.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's really smart.
Yeah.
I love the idea. I love that your friend turned into your husband.
Yes.
Right. And I love that. So I always think we are one step away from that huge success story, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that was just your little missing piece.
It
He
was.
was going to school
Uh-huh.
for this. So
Yep.
he knew how to guide you a little bit. I think it was Oprah that said, like, success is, the right opportunity at the right time,
Yes.
right? And that literally was the right opportunity, the right time, and
Yeah.
all of the stars aligned for you. That's so
It
cool.
aligned perfect. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better transition in my life. Like,
Yeah.
what I call my second chance at life. You know
That's
what I
so
mean?
cool.
To do it the way I want it, like my path.
And to be able to have that time off with your kids because you hadn't worked in so much time. A lot of women find that really hard to go back to work
Yeah.
and figure out what the next step is going to be for them, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So what are some of your favorite meals to prepare? And like, what did you start with? Like when you were first beginning?
All my favorite stuff.
Okay.
So at the time I started with things that like what I would want to serve someone that came over for dinner.
Okay.
So I was making lasagna, enchiladas, like complicated stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And then as the business grew, I was like, I cannot roll 1,000 enchiladas for our customers. Like, this is just
I'm crazy, not that crazy.
this is just not doable anymore. So at the time I started with stuff like that.
Okay.
Things I learned in my mom's restaurant. A lot of Mexican food, you know. And plus I'm half Mexican and half Lebanese.
Oh, okay.
So we eat a lot of Mediterranean food, you know. And so I started with
And that's a good diet.
Yeah, it is. And I started with those two cuisines.
Nice. Okay. So when you found that it was it was complicated to do the big meals that you were
Yes.
thinking that you were going to be able to do originally, and you were trying to scale it back, what was the idea to keep it a balanced meal? So if somebody wants to get into meal prepping, what are some key things that they maybe should know right now?
The most important thing is portions.
Yes. Okay.
You know, you don't realize how much we actually eat when we're not measuring it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying to measure your food and be obsessed with measuring, but just be mindful of what your serving should be.
What is the ideal serving size?
So the ideal serving size and what the formula we use is 5 ounces of protein, half cup of carbs, and fill the rest up with vegetables.
Yeah.
You know, you can never have too much vegetables.
I love that with your service, and because I use it, so I know it. My husband and I both use it. It's been really a big game changer for us because we're busy.
Yes.
And meals at lunchtime are generally either on the road or we didn't get a chance to, cook something the night before. So we're just,
Pop it in the microwave.
yeah, doing something like that. So it made it easy for us, right?
Yeah.
But there's a few different ways that you do your plans, which I thought was really, really genius. Like you have a standard meal.
Yeah.
And then you have like a lean meal.
Yeah.
And you have a shreds meal.
Yeah.
And you have, so I eat a lean meal, which gives me like double veggies. And he eats the regular standard meal because it has a carb in there. And I was like, what? Why didn't I just do this at home?
Yeah.
Like, I'm really grateful to you, but I'm like, it's almost too simple.
Too simple. I think people make it complicated.
Right? Okay,
They
that's what
make
we get in our heads about how to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People make it complicated, and it's really not that complicated.
Right.
It's pick your protein, pick your vegetable. You don't have to make 10 different types of meals.
Yeah.
You can make the same type of chicken, but put different sauces on them.
Yes.
It changes the meal up, right? And I think to me, that's what's important for people to understand is that meal prepping is a lot more common now than it was back then.
Yeah.
Back then, it was all about fitness industry.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And it's not anymore. It's about, like you said, busy people and making it convenient for people. And it doesn't have to be complicated.
No, and what I love about it too, it has inspired me. So looking at your meals has inspired like the rest of my dinner plan, which is so cool. It's a great little snowball effect, right? I mean, my husband can attest to this. You do your asparagus a very simple way. You have them chopped and stuff. And I was like, why don't I do it like this? It tastes so good like this. You don't have to have long stems. Like it's just different ways for you to have I guess a different take on a vegetable that you maybe like one way, but you never tried another way.
Yeah.
So that's been really kind of fun because like in my dinners, I'm like, I'm having asparagus like this one, like this meal that I had.
Yeah.
So do you have any shopping hacks for people that are on a budget? Now groceries are so expensive now.
I know.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And people are trying to be healthy, but it makes it very hard.
It does. Like, it's funny because I was at the grocery store last week and the bill was outrageous. You know, like I do bring meals home, obviously, but I also love to cook.
Yeah.
You know, and so I love to cook dinner every single night. That's just my thing that I like to do for the family. And plus it also inspires me because that's how I come up with things
New
as
stuff,
well.
new ideas.
Yeah. And so I was at the store and I texted my husband. I was like, oh my God. I was like, why do we have to eat healthy?
It's disgustingly expensive.
I was like, why is it so expensive to be healthy?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I would say the tips I would give anyone would be to keep it simple, okay? Like I mentioned earlier, pick your protein, okay? Chicken is not that expensive, and in fact, you can stretch it out very far. You know, you can buy one family pack of chicken. It may be $20 for the pack, but you know what? You're going to get like 3-4 nights worth of meals out of it, you know, for your family. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Pick your vegetable. Vegetables, if you cut it yourself, is way cheaper than buying it pre-cut. And rice. You can buy a big bag of rice that's going to last you a very long time, you know?
That's what I did at Sam's Club recently. We eat a lot of rice at my house.
Yeah.
And it just is like that easy go-to, you know, it's good with kind of everything. And I bought that massive bag of rice.
Yeah, and it lasts a long time, and you can flavor it however way you want.
Yeah.
You can make 4 different styles of it.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, that's what I say is just keep it simple at the store.
Yeah, that is true. Wow. Okay, smart. Do you recommend buying in bulk?
Yes and no.
Okay.
It depends. The times that I've bought in bulk, I feel like I'm wasting more at home.
I feel that way sometimes too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it makes sense on certain items like almond milk, right? We go through a lot of almond milk. To me, it makes more sense to buy that in bulk because the shelf life is longer on it too.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It is than regular milk. You know, and so certain things I feel, yes, that as long as it has a long shelf life, buy it in bulk.
Like if you wouldn't want to buy fresh vegetables in bulk or anything like that.
I don't think anyone's going to eat 5 pounds of, you know, one type of vegetable.
Well, you're going to talk yourself into it, right? When you're at the store, you're like, I'll definitely eat this every single night. This is going to happen. I'm going to be so healthy. And you're like, well, we're lucky because we have chickens at home.
Oh, cool.
So the chickens eat very well.
Oh, so you just like,
When we know we did not get through all of these vegetables, we're like, oh, okay,
give it to the chickens.
The chickens are going to eat this. So for someone who is picky, how can you make a meal that kind of works for everybody?
It's really hard to accommodate everyone's taste when you're in this type of business. And for someone that's picky, I mean, to be honest with you, it's more of if someone is that picky, okay, maybe you should make your own food. Like, I don't know how, like, the nicest way to say that. But
maybe somebody making your food for you isn't the right idea.
No, it's not. So when I first started, I accommodated everyone.
Oh, yeah.
We had a thing called, we called it In the Kitchen with Specials. So customers were able to customize their meals. And that worked for a couple years for us. But after a while and after our massive growth that we had, it was like we were personal chefs for every single customer.
Yeah.
And that made it absolutely impossible to customize meals. So 2 years ago, I eliminated that.
Yeah.
And our meals come as is now.
Yeah.
So it's the only way that we also can control the quality of it and reduce the amount of errors. Because when you're customizing meals, you're having to read every single customer's notes and making sure that you're making it the way they want it. And that was really hard.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
That's when you add that surcharge, right?
Yeah, I know. No one likes those surcharges, though.
I know. No, well, what I like about your meals, too, is that my girls can eat them, my son eats them. You know, like they're good for everybody.
Yeah.
And you know, it's clear on there usually, and with yours, it's, you know, this is spicy, so maybe you don't pick this meal.
Yeah.
You know, just things like that.
Yeah.
So, no, I agree. If you're a very picky person, you should be the one doing your meal prep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For somebody that is getting started with meal prepping, I know you said keep it really simple.
Yeah.
What are some basic things that they should have in their kitchen?
Basic things, I would say, in your kitchen, have 2 different types of proteins so you don't get sick and tired of it.
Okay.
2 different types of vegetables and 2 different types of carbs. And have your basic seasonings that you absolutely love and a couple different sauces. I mean, sauces make a difference in a meal. You know, who doesn't like sauce in their meals,
Everybody
right?
loves sauce.
Everyone does.
Give me all the sauce.
And as long as you're being mindful of how much you're putting in there, it's not that bad. You know, salsa goes a long way, and it barely has anything in it.
It's fresh.
It's fresh.
Yeah.
It's salsa. It has like...
It's healthy.
Yeah, like no calories, basically. My favorite condiment to use is sweet and spicy mustard.
Ooh.
Like, it sounds weird, but it honestly is really good on any protein. And it's
Sweet
0
and
calories.
Okay, so what is it again?
Sweet and spicy mustard.
Wow.
Yeah, it's right in the mustard section. You'll see it there.
So, that is a good idea. That's a good point. Because when you think about, there's so many condiments.
Yeah, there is.
There's like a million condiments. And now like Chick-fil-A's in there. You know what I mean? Like there's every kind of condiment.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. There's like a million types of mustards.
Yeah.
And different types of even, salad dressings and things
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah.
You don't think about. Sometimes you're so stuck into just going to your go-to, right?
go-to.
Oh, I just go to that,
Yeah.
The yellow
The ranch.
one. The one that says yellow.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Or the regular ranch.
Uh-huh.
Do you use light condiments? Like, sometimes you're in the aisle and it's like, oh, light ranch, or like, what do you try to do with that?
At home, yes.
Okay.
At home, I do try to pick healthier versions of things.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things, I'm not going to lie, they don't taste the best
Yeah.
when they're, docked
Lighter
like
version,
that.
yeah.
So I pick and choose
Mm-hmm.
which ones. But, if I go get sour cream, I'm going to get the light sour cream.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it doesn't taste that much of a difference.
Yeah, I've never noticed the
You
difference
know,
in that either.
no.
Mm-hmm.
But certain things do have a different taste. But for the most part, yes, I do get healthier versions of
Yeah.
things.
And then what kind of utensil type things should you have in your kitchen if you're going to start meal prepping? What do you think?
Like cooking utensils?
Yeah, cooking utensils, or is there specific pans you should have, or what kind of trays are you using to meal prep?
So-
what do you, those kinds of little things.
A lifesaver is going to be a rice cooker.
Ah,
100%.
Perfect rice every time.
Yes, 100% rice cooker. And I absolutely love the air fryer
Yeah.
because you don't have to use oils.
Mm-hmm.
You can just pop it in, set the timer, walk away.
Mm-hmm.
And before you know it, you have an entire meal done for you between the rice cooker and an air fryer.
There it is.
Yeah. But those are honestly the main things I use at home.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, my kids know how to use it. So they don't have to rely on mom to constantly be making
Mm-hmm.
stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And small, middle school kids, even, higher up elementary kids can learn how to use an air fryer.
Yeah.
Because you're not dealing with actual flames.
And are you like big on the Sunday meal prepping? Is that because I always feel like that's what everybody says?
That's what everyone
meal
says.
prep on Sundays.
So, because if you want to start your week off
Mm-hmm.
the right way. The times in the past where I wouldn't meal prep on a Sunday, I fell off during the week.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I wasn't prepared,
Yeah.
and the worst thing to do is to be so unprepared that you're so hungry,
Yeah.
because what are you going to do? You're going to make some bad decisions.
You're gonna find something else.
You're going to find something else. Yes.
You're going to make bad decisions. I love that. Sometimes bad decisions are so fun, though.
I know, right?
And then as far as I know, like what your meals come in, it's a plastic, kind of situation.
Yeah.
People can find that anywhere, right? I mean, they can find that like on Amazon.
Yeah.
Just something that seals.
That seals, yeah. They're really easy to find now. Back then they weren't. It was really hard to find them. But now you can go anywhere. Target has them. Walmart has them. You can buy them on Amazon. You can find them really anywhere.
And you can buy them so that they're reusable.
Yeah.
You don't have to just be one and dump, one and
Nope.
dump, especially with the way the world is now. We don't want to be just throwing away our plastic all the
I have
time.
so many at home, and I save them. I pop them in the dishwasher. They,
Yeah, they
clean
dishwash.
well,
Mhm.
and I save them because I use those containers to give food out to family and stuff that come over for dinner.
Oh,
And I'm like,
yeah.
take some leftovers, and I pack them in that.
Smart.
So when you give someone your Tupperware, you'll never see it back.
No. Very true.
So they take those containers.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I get customers all the time email me and be like, "Can I return my containers back to you?" And I'm like, no, you wouldn't want to eat out of where someone else ate out of, and we don't
Your
have
face.
the time to sanitize and do all that.
Just save them.
Recycle them, save them.
Yeah. That's actually kind of funny. I don't want your stuff.
Yeah.
You can keep it.
I wouldn't
That
want
was
to
my
eat out
gift
of
to
it.
you. Oh, I love that. Is there anything that you want to add? Let's talk about busy schedules and things like that. How do you personally balance your busy schedule and being a business owner and eating correctly?
Yeah. It's a challenge. I will say that being a business owner is 24/7.
Yeah.
There is no off day at all. And sometimes I think back to when I didn't work and I was like, man, I miss those days, or even when I only prepared on one day and delivered on one day and I had the rest of the week, right?
Yeah.
Now it's 7 days a week.
Oh, yeah.
And it's tough. But one thing that I make sure that I do is I have a good balance and I'm very firm on it. So when I get home from work and it's about dinner time-ish, it's my family time.
Nice.
That's it. I know a lot of business owners will disagree with that. You're supposed to be constantly working and improving and this and that. And I understand that to a certain degree. But I also grew up with parents who owned businesses and they were never there.
Yeah.
They were never they didn't give me the attention. They were always working. And, now growing up and being an adult myself and having a business, I understand where they were coming from. I get it. But that is something that I didn't want for me and my kids. I did not want to be absent all the time.
Yeah.
So when I'm home, I'm home. An email comes in, you know what? It can wait till tomorrow.
Yes, it can.
My husband, on the other hand, is different. He is constantly on. But I try to have a balance for sure, especially with my daughter being 15. I only have a few more years with her before she goes off to college. So I want to make sure that I'm there for her and show them that it's okay to be working, in your business and also be home with your family.
And be happy and
be happy.
Mentally stable. Really that I feel like a good work-life balance
it's important.
Is part of a complete healthy diet.
And especially, being married and working together too, you have to learn when it's appropriate to talk about work and when it's appropriate to just be husband and wife.
Yeah. So funny because that I can relate to that way too well. My husband and I, we work together. We're both in radio.
Yeah.
We both talk about radio at home all the time.
Yeah.
We talk about work
all the time.
Constantly.
I know.
And it is a thing. Our whole family is very wrapped up in our work lives because that's what they know, right? They grew up watching that. But it's so beautiful that you find that time. You say, nope.
Yeah.
From this point on, the rest of my day is just about my children. It's just about family time and those things. That is such a good thing for your health, your whole health, your mental health, all the things.
I mean, you have to. Like I said, I do understand the entrepreneur mindset of having to constantly, there's no off time. You got to work every hour of the day. I get that, especially if you want to grow. Yeah. But at the same time, it's also important to be able to shut off, because if you never shut off, you're never going to give it your all.
That's true.
Yeah,
you're going to be burnt out.
Yeah, that's why we close 2 weeks out of the year at the end of the year.
Oh, I didn't know that, and now I'm scared.
Yes.
No, I'm just totally kidding.
We do. We've been doing it since the very beginning.
That's great. So for Christmas, the holidays, yes, that's a wonderful idea.
Let's be real. No one wants to eat meal preps during the holidays.
Heck no.
I know I don't, and I own the business. But I want to enjoy my time with family and friends, and it's also too, our employees work their butt off all year long. We work every single weekend. And to me, it's only fair to give everyone the time off to decompress, enjoy their time, and then come back at the busiest time of the year for us, which is January.
Oh, yeah. Everybody wants to get fit.
Everyone does. So that's a good balance that we have.
That's great. I love that. I really, really do. Okay, before we go, I'm very inspired by you, by the way, and I think everybody is going to be. This is really wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Christine, before we go, what are the 3 key takeaways you think from our entire conversation that everyone should stick with, should take with them after listening today?
I feel the 3 takeaways would just be, kind of summing it all up together into one, is we only have one life. Yeah. We only have one body. We got to treat it good. And if you can't afford a service like ours, that's okay. Don't let that take you away from feeding yourself a wholesome, healthy meal. Yeah. Meal prep yourself. It's easy. It's really not that complicated. There's so many tips on the internet right now, so many Instagram accounts someone can follow to learn how to do it themselves. And all you need is just a couple hours out of your day, and just be mindful. Buy whole, fresh food. Stay away from the packaged stuff. I mean, it is good. I'm not going to
lie.
lie.
It's so yummy.
I'm not going to lie. But you know what? In moderations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this whole business has always been about. It is called My Healthy Penguin, but it's about moderations. It's about still eating your favorite stuff, cheese on your meals. It's okay. It's okay to have carbs too, you know, but don't eat 3 cups of carbs in one sitting, you know? So it's just don't make it complicated and do it for yourself.
Beautiful. Oh, Christine, thank you so much. How can people find you on Instagram and your website if they do want more information about My Healthy Penguin?
Yeah, so website's myhealthypenguin.com and Instagram is at myhealthypenguin. And you can find us in different locations right now. We're in a lot of gyms throughout, you know, California or Southern California. So anyone can go and just, if they don't want to buy a meal pack on our website, they can go to one of our fridges and buy just one meal.
Nice. And just see.
Just see if you like it.
And also get inspired. I will say that. I think, like I said, your meals have inspired me to cook better. In the evening, I know the portion because I've been seeing what a 5-ounce portion looks like in my meals. So I'm like, okay, that's a 5-ounce portion when I'm doing my dinner. I feel like that's a really cool way to just kind of put your toe into meal prepping is to going to one of those gyms. And you list them all on your stuff,
they're
right?
all on our social, and we're constantly adding more locations. We have a wait list right now, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
that is awesome.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's really easy, especially those that they don't know if they want to try it or not. You know, they don't want to commit to an entire week of food. Go get one meal.
Yeah.
Let me know how you like it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for joining me. Yeah. I'm excited by you. I hope that the business continues to thrive for you. I'm cheering you on.
Thank you.
A girl from the IE.
I know, right?
On the IEHP podcast.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I will continue to eat your meals.
Thank you so much. I'm glad.